Good evening. This ship heading for the Canary Islands has become the center of global concern with a rare hantavirus outbreak that has now killed 3 people and infected 5.
On board that ship right now, 4 Canadians. 3 others that previously left the ship are home, including 2 here in Ontario. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has more.
One of our passengers sadly passed away last night.
Sunday, April 12th, this captain's address informs those on board the MV Hondias that a passenger has died, though there's no signs of an infectious disease on the ship.
It was due to natural causes, we believe.
Rohi Chenet recorded the captain speaking to those on board.
People were socializing with each other. We had our meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner all together in the dining room, sitting side by side.
3 people have died since the ship set sail from Argentina a month ago. 8 others are suspected to have contracted the virus. So far, the 4 Canadians who remain on board are showing no symptoms, though CTV News has now learned that 2 additional Canadians are among the more than 24 people from 12 different countries who left the ship 2 weeks ago unaware of the outbreak.
For these 2 individuals, they have been, from day one, monitored and assessed on a daily basis.
Confirmation that a Quebecer who was on the same flight as a passenger with hantavirus is also in isolation. In a social media post, Quebec's Minister of Health saying it doesn't seem like they were in close proximity and the risk of transmission is very low. There are minimal concerns for the wider public, according to the World Health Organization. Hantavirus is usually spread through the inhalation of contaminated rodent droppings and isn't easily transmitted between people.
Given the incubation period of the Andes virus, which can be up to 6 weeks, it's possible that more cases may be reported.
The MV Hondias cruise ship was anchored for 3 days near Cape Verde off the coast of West Africa. It's now located here in the North Atlantic as it travels towards Spain's Canary Islands, where it's expected to arrive this weekend with more than 140 people on board.
Consular support will be in place when the ship reaches port.
Those who remain on the ship have shared that health and safety protocols are now in place, though many have been left to wonder if more could have been done sooner. The World Health Organization clearly stating that this outbreak is different than the COVID-19 pandemic. This is limited to just a small number of people, and currently there's no national or global threat. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
And we'll have more on this story in a moment, including a reaction from the province. But first, a look at the forecast. Here's a live shot of the city. Still clouds, still that slight chance of rain, and still a bit cool. Hopefully things will change as we look ahead to tomorrow and the weekend. Lindsay Morrison has a look at the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, Nathan, you'll recall that we started off today with beautiful sunshine, but around the noon hour, the cloud cover thickened, and we've been dealing with some wet weather ever since, on and off showers. Right now, we've got some steadier rain falling for the west end of the GTA, Oakville, Burlington, Hamilton, back toward Brantford, and these on and off showers around Toronto are expected to continue for the evening before we dry out overnight. It was a warmer day today. We're still at 11 degrees this hour at Pearson Airport. Winds today out of the west and out of the southwest. Little bit of a northwest breeze at this hour. Gusty conditions expected at least for the early part of the evening too. Then everything settles down overnight. But with the clearing skies and calmer winds, we also have some cool temperatures. +3 is what we're forecasting for an overnight low. So you guessed it, once again, we are looking at the risk of frost. Toronto not included in the frost advisory, but parts of the GTA are, and that risk of frost will extend to the city also. Coming up, we're going to take you through the weekend weather forecast. Lots to discuss, including an improvement for Mother's Day. All of those details are ahead. For now, Michelle, I'm going to send it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Returning to our top story, as we mentioned, public health officials here in Ontario have confirmed 2 people on the MV Hondias are back home in this province and now in isolation. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Vaughan Morris joins us live tonight with more on the local reaction. Siobhan.
Well, the Minister of Health dropped this on us somewhat unannounced during an unrelated news conference, but we still have a lot of unanswered questions tonight.
2 people somewhere in Ontario are in isolation. They may have been exposed to hantavirus on a cruise gone terribly wrong. Now public health is watching over them.
At this point, it is believed that they are not in any way a risk of transmission, but It is fluid.
The Ministry of Health isn't saying where in the province these people are, exactly how they got to where they're isolating, but we know they're not staying in Toronto.
I unfortunately can't provide any additional information on those two individuals. That is news information to us as well. What I can say is that this is the day-to-day work of public health.
Tracing their contacts and routes of travel, checking up on them.
Monitoring for signs and symptoms of infection, and if people do develop such symptoms, then getting medical care. We don't have a prophylaxis for this. We don't have a dedicated antiviral.
While we have seen hantavirus move from human to human, experts say it isn't in passing. We're talking close and prolonged contact.
It's not easily transmitted. This is not something to be terrified of.
What does get complicated is that it can take several weeks for symptoms to show up. So for Ontarians under watch,
the incubation and monitoring period will likely be in the 30-day period.
Ontario hasn't had a hantavirus case in a decade.
Most cases in Canada typically occur in some other provinces, in BC, Manitoba, and Quebec. But even then, we've only had 109 cases since 1989.
Experts don't see this as a global risk or even a regional one so far.
Let's obviously stay humble and not pretend that we know everything about this virus. But on the same hand, we're not going to ignore 30 years of data that we have and prior outbreaks that have been quelled with pretty straightforward public health interventions.
We also spoke today with Dr. Alison McGeer, a very prominent voice during the SARS outbreak and again during the COVID-19 pandemic. She says at this point she doesn't see any reason to make any changes to your summer travel plans. Reporting live from Queen's Park, I'm Siobhan Morris. Nathan and Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. A man is fighting for his life after a house fire in Vaughan last evening.
Tonight, the Ontario Fire Marshal's office is investigating the cause of the blaze. CTV's Janice Golding is live at the scene tonight with the latest. Janice.
Hi, Nathan. Yes, a 68-year-old man is fighting for his life in hospital after a fire broke out in the home behind us here. You can see charred wood and furniture through a second-floor window. The scene left behind after a residential home fire near Kipling and Highway 7.
Yeah, I smelled lots. It smelled like burning plastic and stuff.
Yeah, it was late at night. My son called me saying there's a fire across the street.
Neighbors say it was around 10:45 p.m. when firefighters arrived. A particularly urgent call given crews had been told there was a person possibly unaccounted for inside.
They commenced a rapid attack with an interior search. Approximately, they encountered high heat and heavy smoke within the rear of the structure. They encountered and found one person.
Firefighters managed to remove a 68-year-old man from the building, but he had no vital signs.
They actually were working on him for quite a bit, trying to revive him.
After receiving CPR for more than 20 minutes, the victim was rushed to hospital by York EMS in critical condition.
We are sad. We are our neighbor, and that man was a good man.
My prayers for them. It's very scary. I wish them all the best.
More than 24 firefighters attended the scene. Deputy Chief Grant Moffat was one of them.
I was here last night, and I didn't hear any smoke alarms sounding at the time. That will be part of the investigation, but I do strongly remind people, smoke alarms give you a fighting chance to get out of a home.
The Fire Marshal's office is now investigating. Fire officials say one other person who was inside at the time managed to self-rescue. The origin of the blaze is unknown. Reporting live from Janice Golding, now back to Michelle and Nathan.
Thank you, Janice. An investigation is underway in the East End after a stabbing last night sent a woman to hospital. Police say the woman, who's in her 40s, was stabbed after a fight broke out near Lumsden and Eastdale Avenue just before 11. She was taken to hospital with injuries but will survive. A 47-year-old woman was arrested at the scene. And a few hours later, emergency crews responded to calls about the sound of gunfire near Scarborough Golf Club Road and Ellesmere. The call came in around 2:45 in the morning. When police arrived, they found evidence of shots fired causing damage to a home. There is no suspect information and no injuries have been reported.
2 more arrests have been made in a deadly shooting at a mall in Etobicoke earlier this year. 37-year-old Chandan Nanda Kumar was shot while sitting in a vehicle parked outside the Woodbine Shopping Center near Rexdale Boulevard and Highway 27 on February 7th. A 19-year-old man was arrested in March and charged with first-degree murder. 2 18-year-olds are now also facing charges. Xavier Blake is charged with first-degree murder, while Dyson Taylor is facing 1 count of accessory after the fact to murder.
There was a crash involving a school bus in Oshawa this afternoon, but no injuries were reported. Durham police were called to the Roslyn and Fernhill Boulevard area just after 2. A vehicle collided with a school bus in the area. The driver of the vehicle has been taken to hospital with minor injuries. The children aboard the bus were assessed at the scene. The cause of the crash remains under investigation.
Crews remain at the scene of a fire at a building in Thorncliffe Park. Toronto Fire says there's no change in the status of this fire, which broke out Monday morning. It's the second time the insulation between 11 Thorncliffe Park Drive and 21 Overley Boulevard has caught fire after a blaze smoldered for weeks there last year. Firefighters are monitoring air quality and doing thermal imaging checks. No injuries have been reported. The city has paused all repair work at the building for the time being. Also tonight, Air Canada is cutting more flights as jet fuel prices soar. The latest fallout and why going forward, some cancellation insurance claims may be off the table. But we turn now to the FIFA World Cup. And one of the biggest concerns for Toronto is how to manage all that human traffic in just over a month from now.
Today, city officials laid out their plan for public transit during the tournament that will see 6 matches played here. CTV's Heather Wright has the details.
A frequent contender for worst traffic in North America, the World Cup will put Toronto Transit to the test in ways the city has never seen. On June 12th, Canada opens its tournament against Bosnia and Herzegovina. The Blue Jays will host the Yankees at Rogers Centre, and fans of both will pack downtown.
The city will be busy, but I think Toronto's busy. That's what comes with a big city.
Today, the heads of Metrolinx and the Toronto Transit Commission outlined some of the preparations underway as the city gets set for kickoff. They estimate they will see a surge of 44,000 additional transit riders on match days, adding more trains and buses to help accommodate the increase. They say there will not be a repeat of Game 7 of last fall's World Series, when service was not adequately extended, leaving thousands of fans stranded in the downtown core.
Having had that experience, Taylor Swift, the solar eclipse, all of that I think helps inform our ridership projections, which is really useful because it means that I think we're probably more accurate in understanding how people want to move through the region in a big event like this.
Canada is hosting this year's World Cup along with the United States and Mexico. 6 matches will be played in Toronto, 7 in Vancouver. Much of the action in Toronto will be in and around BMO Field, called Toronto Stadium, during the tournament. It's an area that sees big events regularly, and experts say it's vital to get transit right for both the people who live here and those visiting, many of whom will be getting a first impression of the city and country.
What you ideally want is for the transportation to be an afterthought, that it works, that it's seamless, that you don't have to think too hard about it, and then it just shows up and functions.
A big test for organizers and for this stadium comes on Saturday when Toronto FC hosts Inter Miami and soccer star Lionel Messi. It is the final event before FIFA takes control of this stadium on May 12th. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
With demand for electricity expected to grow by up to 90% by the year 2050, the Ford government is moving ahead with plans for Ontario's first large-scale nuclear project in more than 30 years. The province has reached a cost-sharing and recovery agreement with Bruce Power related to the Bruce C nuclear project. It would be the 3rd generating station to be built at the site on the shores of Lake Huron. The proposed facility would generate up to 4,800 megawatts, enough to power 4.8 million homes. The deal means critical pre-construction activities can proceed, including First Nations and community engagement, workforce planning, and site preparation planning. That phase of the project is expected to cost $300 million and be complete by 2030.
Meanwhile, gas prices in the GTA fell around 5 cents overnight. The average price at most GTA stations dropped to just under $1.91 per liter. The drop comes after a 7-cent spike yesterday. Dan McTagg with Canadians for Affordable Energy is predicting a 7-cent drop tomorrow. But still, gas prices are hitting their highest levels in 4 years, and drivers aren't the only ones trying to adapt.
Air Canada announcing new reductions in its flight schedule, and at least one insurance company is no longer covering cancellations related to the jet fuel shortage. CTV's Andrew Johnson reports.
This will mean fewer options for some people who fly on a list of route reductions across multiple airlines that continues to grow. In Metro Vancouver, Alexandra Antonovich is feeling it. She visits her parents several times a year in Raleigh, North Carolina, and was delighted when Air Canada added a direct flight from YVR.
It just takes only 5 hours. Usually I would take connect flights, and that would be about double the time, even triple. With some strikes going on, it was once like a day and a half, so it's just convenient.
But that seasonal route will end early this summer. Air Canada is also ending seasonal routes early from Toronto to Charleston, North Carolina, and Sacramento, California, and from Montreal to Austin, Texas. The airline says the decision was made as a direct result of the price of jet fuel. WestJet also previously announced plans to slash its capacity by nearly 6% in June. Antonovich says it all adds up to another hit to the cost of living in 2026.
We travel around a lot in our car, and we see the gas prices going up every day. I'm sure that affects also the food prices and the flights and everything in our daily lives.
Air Canada says customers who have already booked are being contacted with alternate options or a refund. There is another spin-off effect if you buy insurance to protect you in the event of cancellations. Manulife says it is now classifying the jet fuel shortage as a known event. What that means is if you book travel cancellation or disruption insurance through Manulife after May 5th, problems related to this issue likely won't be covered. It might be a good idea to check with your insurance provider before making any new bookings. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Still ahead, there could be turbulence in the skies for a summer staple. Officials warn the Snowbirds might be grounded for several years because of the cost and long-needed repairs. In the Middle East, the U.S. military says Iran launched missiles, drones, and small boats as 3 American destroyers moved through the Strait of Hormuz today. The U.S. says none of its vessels were hit. Now, the attack comes amid the ongoing battle for control of the international waterway. After today's Iranian military action, the U.S. says it carried out retaliatory strikes on assets that were responsible for unprovoked hostilities. They included launch sites, command and control locations, as well as intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance targets. The latest exchange raises further concerns about the sustainability of a shaky ceasefire that began a month ago.
Back in this country, word today, there have been more than 42,000 breaches at the Canada Revenue Agency since 2020. The Federal Privacy Commissioner says it's a result of people gaining unauthorized access to or modifying taxpayer information. Philippe Dufresne points to gaps in the CRA's prevention, monitoring, detection, and handling of breaches. The agency did not implement mandatory multi-factor authentication in a timely manner and could not always adequately explain how attackers managed to bypass authentication processes.
The largest gathering of Conservatives in Canada is underway. Party leader Pierre Poilievre urged the crowd in Ottawa to never give up because so much is at stake.
Some people believe that we should stop fighting, join the club, be content with the way things are. That certainly would be easier, my friends. But easy street leads to a dead end, and the hardest roads lead to the best destinations. Our destination as a country, the country that we knew and still love, a country where the people are back in charge of their lives, because this country and its people are worth fighting for. I keep fighting, and I hope you will too. Merci beaucoup.
Poilievre says Ottawa is full of entrenched special interest groups defending the status quo and insists Conservatives need to keep winning debates in opposition. Alberta's Premier and the U.S. Ambassador to Canada will speak tomorrow at the Canada Strong and Free Network conference.
The National Emergency Alert System was tested here in Ontario today at precisely 1:55 this afternoon, and at that moment, the Prime Minister was welcoming a Dutch princess back to Canada.
And I would like to thank you for both of your personal, sorry, this is a test, by the way. This is only a test, but now it's recorded for prosperity of our national alert system, so it's working. That's good.
The PM thanked Princess Marguerite for her lifelong commitment to Canada. She was born in Ottawa in 1943 after the royal family was advised to leave their homeland following the Nazi invasion. The princess has returned to this country many times, offering support to many, including our veterans and the Red Cross. Well, they are a summer staple for air show enthusiasts, aerial representatives of this country performing dazzling acrobatic feats.
But tonight there are questions about the future of the Snowbirds and whether they will continue to entertain Canadians for years to come. CTV's Graham Richardson has more.
For decades, they've been a Canadian symbol of blue skies and hot summer days. But Conservatives are now warning 2026 will be the last time Canadians will be able to see the iconic Snowbirds for many years to come.
Up front, the Snowbirds are being canceled. This is the last season.
Tommy is the former mayor of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, home base for the Snowbirds. He says the schedule is normal for 2026, but after that, the planes will stay on the ground.
They do our nation proud, and we really need to get behind our Snowbirds. It's an SOS call. It's Save Our Snowbirds.
2 air shows confirmed to CTV they are not booked in 2027 and referred all questions back to the Snowbirds. When asked directly about the future of the program, Defence Minister David McGuinty's office refused all comment. One Liberal MP said cost is a factor.
At what cost? So, I mean, yeah, it's a Canadian institution. Would be sad to see it go, but I'm not sure how much it costs for the Snowbirds.
After our story published online, the minister said this in the House of Commons.
This member surely can't be suggesting he's going to put the pilots, the women and men of that fleet, in harm's way.
In 2021, the government committed $30 million to upgrade the fleet and keep it flying until 2030. It appears the Snowbirds won't make it that long.
This is like maple syrup. This is like, ice cold Canadian beer. This is like, gravy on our poutine.
So why not just replace the fleet altogether once and for all? Well, the cost to do that will be between $1 and $2 billion with all the other government priorities. Aerobatics in the air and a new Snowbird fleet may not be top of the list. Graham Richardson, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up, one last rehearsal before the big show. The Toronto Tempo hold their final practice as the new WNBA franchise looks ahead to their historic first game.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, it's Mother's Day this weekend, one of the busiest days of the year for ordering flowers. Most are delivered where they're supposed to go and on time. But what if they arrive late or not at all? I'll have that story. That's just ahead.
Well, it is worth pointing out that our seasonal norm is now 18 degrees in Toronto. We were well below that today. Even the warmest part of the province, Harrow, was still several degrees cooler, too. We have found ourselves in a colder than normal, unsettled lull, but there are signs of maybe a pattern change just in time for the May long weekend. Stay with us. We'll take a look at your 7-day forecast after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The busiest day of the year for ordering flowers is Mother's Day, accounting for about 30% of annual sales for many flower shops.
Close behind is Valentine's Day. While most bouquets arrive on time, if they don't, the refund policy may depend on the florist you choose. Here's Pat Foran with a Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Michelle. And Nathan, a Toronto woman bought flowers for her mother, but unfortunately it was for her funeral. She paid for 2 arrangements, which were sent to the wrong church and missed the service. She was shocked to be told there were no refunds.
We contacted them because the flowers had not arrived.
Loretta Young and her mother Mary were very close, and she wanted to make sure there were flowers at her funeral. She went online and ordered 2 funeral flower arrangements at a cost of $488. But on the day of the service, they didn't show up.
There was a mistake with the delivery address, that they had actually tried to deliver the flowers to a church in Vancouver, British Columbia, not Toronto, Ontario.
Following the funeral, Young contacted the website to say the flowers never arrived, but she was told there were no refunds.
I wrote back and I said, that's not unacceptable. I said, I would like a refund. It was your mistake. It wasn't mine.
But she was offered a store credit to be used all at once, or they would resend the funeral arrangements.
During this whole process, no one showed any compassion as to why I wouldn't want to have my mother's funeral flowers delivered days after her funeral.
We've trained over 5,000 students, and they're all over the country.
Don Waltho is the founder of the Canadian Institute of Floral Design. He says when you order from a virtual flower shop, you may not be dealing with the florist who delivers the arrangements. He recommends dealing directly with a local florist in your community.
We want to confirm the location of the event and make sure that we're there on time, and we use our own drivers.
Young ordered the flowers from Bluemax Canada. A spokesperson told CTV News the initial order was entered incorrectly by our phone operator. Unfortunately, the funeral delivery window had already been missed. We sincerely regret this error, and a full refund has now been issued. Young was relieved to have the matter dealt with and her money refunded.
I am so grateful to CTV for reaching out and for helping to resolve this. It's been very nice, so thank you so much.
And if you need flowers for Mother's Day or any event, ordering from a local florist can cut out the middleman and support local business. And if there is a problem, they may be more likely to work with you to find a solution. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Well, certainly nice to get a decent dose of sunshine today, but temperature-wise, oh, it could be warmer. Nice to know that at least for the end of the work week, we're going to warm up. You know, a handful of degrees, we'll take it.
Yeah, it's getting better, especially when you think that Mother's Day is coming up soon. Hopefully we'll get, you know, some good weather that day.
I will say the Mother's Day forecast is looking better than it looked yesterday and the day before. It's looking a little drier, and hopefully, yes, we're going to get some sun. Temperatures are also going to be a little bit warmer than they've been the last couple of days. But yes, even at this hour, we continue to deal with cool, wet weather. I want to remind you of what it looked like early this morning when the sun was shining. It was a beautiful start to the day. This was Riverdale Dog Park, a perfect place to spend an early morning with the sun shining. It was chilly, though. We remain under a frost advisory. There was one in place last night, too. But look how green that grass is because of all the rain that we've had. Yes, I'm trying to find a silver lining because once again, it is raining in many different parts of southern Ontario. Here's a look at the radar imagery. If you're joining us from Kitchener-Waterloo over toward Brantford, now pushing into the Hamilton area, even Milton, we've got some wet weather. And for some, this is a steady rain, not just some light sprinkles and showers. It's been a pretty unsettled pattern. There's no one particular low that's bringing us the rain. It's just a trough and a lot of instability in the atmosphere. As we make our way into the weekend, though, there is a front that could bring us not only a few showers, but maybe also some thunderstorms. We'll get to that in just a moment. Drying out later this evening and overnight. Still going to be a little bit of cloud cover, but again, waking up tomorrow morning, risk of frost. It'll be calm, clear, and cool. It's also going to be sunny. That's about 9 a.m. Look what happens, though, again in the afternoon. We see the possibility of a few pop-up showers. They're less likely compared to what we experienced today, and it's mainly areas east of Toronto. I know you've been pretty unsettled in Niagara Falls. You once again have a chance of some showers, and then here's Saturday. So when it comes to your plans, just be mindful of the fact that late in the afternoon, early in the evening, this front could fire off a few thunderstorms and bring us a little drenching of rain. But into Sunday, as mentioned, some improvement. It looks drier, sunny to start, maybe a bit of cloud cover in the afternoon. As for temperatures, we are now at 10 degrees at Pearson Airport. Check out these overnight lows. They're quite cool for this point in the month of May. 0 degrees in Waterloo, -1 in Orillia, -4 degrees in Bancroft. A frost advisory remains in effect for a pretty widespread area. There's tomorrow at a glance. 15 for the high, still below seasonal, even though we are expecting a southwesterly wind. And highs tomorrow, yeah, they're in the double digits in most areas. But I'm going to remind you of the fact that the seasonal norm is 18 degrees. We look to climb closer to that as we make our way through the later half of next week. But there's the weekend forecast, 14 degrees for your Sunday. Some bright skies for Monday and Tuesday, and some cloud cover on Wednesday. But again, beyond this 7-day forecast, signs of perhaps some warmer weather returning. That's your look at the weather for now. Andrea, I'm going to send it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. I'm on the black carpet for departure honors, and the one and only Maggie Kang is here. Maggie, you've had a long day. What has been the best part about your day? Because our audience is going to see you in a story in a few minutes.
Just being in my hometown of Toronto. It just feels like a worst season has ended for this film, and it just feels like a full circle moment to come back to where it all started.
Okay, sweetheart. I'm going to let you go and do your interviews. The word season brought, you may ask? K-pop Demon Hunters. She's the lady who wrote it and directed it. We'll have more coming up in a few minutes. I'm Andrea Case at Colonel Hall.
The province is proposing changes aimed at reducing wait times for some police record checks. The update is focused on vulnerable sector checks. They're for people working or volunteering with children, seniors, and people with disabilities. They require more detailed screenings, which can add to wait times. If the change is passed, police services would be allowed to help process those checks for applicants who live outside their jurisdiction. Solicitor General Michael Kersner said potential delays for those checks should never stand in the way of someone getting a job or giving back to their community.
Singer Bonnie Tyler is recovering in hospital after undergoing emergency intestinal surgery.
Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart.
Tyler's best known for her 80s hits, Total Eclipse of the Heart and Holding Out for a Hero. A statement shared on her website Wednesday says the 74-year-old was admitted to hospital for the procedure in Portugal, where she has a home. It also says the procedure went well and Tyler is recuperating.
HBO's out with the teaser for an upcoming history sketch comedy series, executive produced in part by Barack and Michelle Obama and Larry David.
I have sat across the table from some of the world's most difficult leaders and wrestled with some of the globe's most intractable problems. Nothing has prepared me for working with Larry David.
The 44th U.S. president appeared in the trailer joking about his collaboration with David on the show. It's described as both celebrating and poking fun at moments in American history 250 years after the country's founding. Life, Larry, and the Pursuit of Unhappiness debuts June 26th.
An Oscar winner comes home. Maggie Kang is in town today. You saw her moments ago, and she's going to be recognized at the Departure Honors Awards tonight.
And it's not the only recognition Kang received today. CTV's Andrea Case joins us now from the event's black carpet at Corner Hall with more. You just talked to her.
I did just talk to her. She was very gracious. She was on a photo wall. And what often happens is when there are publicists around them, you say, hey, I'm going live in 30 seconds or a minute. Can I get the person to come over? Sometimes they don't come over, but Maggie Kang did come over and say a few words. She had a lot more to say earlier today as she was given a very special honor. And I think you want to hear what she has to say, what the mayor has to say about some of the characters in K-pop Demon Hunters. For Korean-Canadian Maggie Kang, the road to the Academy Awards cut right through Toronto. At DreamWorks in Los Angeles, she worked on films including Shrek Forever After, Madagascar Escape to Africa, and Kung Fu Panda 3. It's time. But it was K-pop Demon Hunters, which she created, co-wrote, and co-directed, which brought her international attention and an Oscar for Best Animated Film. Taking part in a fireside chat at Departure Festival and Conference, the Sheridan College graduate received the key to the city, the highest honor the city can bestow.
I mean, I'm a proud Canadian, and I remind everybody that I am a Canadian and not American, because there's a massive difference. But coming back to Toronto, where all of this really started, like this is where my love of K-pop and really my love of my culture really solidified.
While she grew up in Toronto, she spent her summers in Korea, bringing the culture to the screen. Her goal was to feature Korean people in a whole new light, making the women unabashedly silly, and the men.
You know, we wanted to really showcase like hot Asian men, because that's hard. There's not a lot of that representation in Hollywood too.
A message not lost on Mayor Olivia Chow.
It is true
Asian men. Let's just celebrate them. Make them a desired sex symbol.
The humor in the film comes from Kang, recognizing she could be funny from a young age.
I kind of knew early. Yeah, I was maybe like 8 or 9. I used to make a lot of my parents bought like a video camera, and my sister and I would just make these fake like commercials and shoot them, and I would do impersonations and stuff. So I kind of had like an inkling that I could do that.
And she'll be doing it all again as a sequel to K-pop Demon Hunters is in the works. Okay, so I had to ask her, where did she put her Academy Award? She says it's on a shelf right next to the kitchen, but she says she's going to build some kind of place to put it in a place of honor. And I said, of course, she can put that key to the city of Toronto there also. Okay, so this event here, also tonight, we have Lily Singh, Jacob Tierney, who wrote the TV show Heated Rivalry, as well as Bruce Allen, who discovered Jan Arden and so many others. Over the next few days, I'll be rolling out all of their stories, but for now, that's it from the black carpet. From the Departure Honors, I'll send it back to the studio.
Thank you, Andrea. Nice to see our friends at Eat Talk there over your shoulder. After the break, got plans in and around the city this weekend, maybe for Mother's Day, catch a Jays game or a concert. Well, heads up, there are some major road closures to keep in mind. We'll tell you which key routes are locked and when.
In Toronto, you can eat like a boss without breaking the bank. We're tracking down the city's tastiest, wallet-friendly venues, like this one, a family-owned Trinidadian restaurant. Let's check out what's on the menu. Mona, you've been here for 25 years.
That's right.
And people keep coming back, lines out the door, because something you're doing here is so special.
The treatment they get,
Nice.
all the service is very, very nice, right? Like, I tell my workers, you've got to treat everybody right.
Yes.
No matter who come and live.
You do. I feel like you're my mom or my family. I've only met you for 5 minutes. What goes into a good roti, according to Mona?
A lot of love.
A lot of love, a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And then some good potatoes.
That's right. The curry, whatever meats, curry, goat, beef, shrimp. We have a nice shrimp roti also, eh? Very, very nice.
Must make you happy to see people walk out and going, thank you, Mona, for this.
Yes. Oh, my God, yes. Happy. Yesterday, a guy came and said, oh, my God, I thought I would never see you here, but if he comes and I leave, right? Yes. I say, I'm here every day,
But he's happy to see you. I'm happy to see you. Give me a hug, Mona. Thank you so much for letting us into your home.
Yes.
And I cannot wait to try.
Yeah, you try. You would like it, too.
All right. Oh, doubles. I love doubles. Okay, Mona. This is going to be so messy. Thank you.
He likes it.
I love it. Scarborough proves you don't have to spend a fortune to eat like a king. Your wallet and your taste buds will thank you. And thank you, Mona.
Yeah, thank you.
Full details at cp24.com. I got it.
A Canadian mining company is halting operations in Cuba because of U.S. sanctions. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more.
Sherritt International has partnered with the island nation to run cobalt and nickel operations for decades. It is one of Cuba's largest foreign investors. Washington has announced sanctions on any foreign person operating in Cuba's metals and mining sectors. Sherritt's work there is being suspended immediately. Shares of Sherritt fell today 42%. Canadian clothing retailer Aritzia reported net revenue surged by 33% for its latest quarter. It rang in at about $1.2 billion. The CEO says they are seeing strong growth in the U.S. and Canada and notes the company did well despite tariffs. Sales are up at Nutrien. The fertilizer company reported sales of just over $6 billion U.S. for its latest quarter, and that's $1 billion more than the same period a year ago. The conflict in Iran has tightened the supply chain for fertilizer, which has helped the Saskatoon-based Nutrien beat estimates. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 73.27. West Texas Intermediate down to 94.81. Western Canadian Select down over $6 to 74.47. And the TSX lost 125 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Maple Leaf Foods confirmed today it's passing on fuel price increases to its customers as the impacts of the conflict in the Middle East drag on. Chief Executive Curtis Frank says the meat packaging company has tacked on a temporary fuel surcharge to cope with soaring transportation costs, one he says will be removed if or as fuel markets normalize. The Mississauga-based company says price increases have not affected overall demand, but they've helped drive growth in poultry sales as the cost of beef remains elevated.
The parent company of Bell Canada is joining competitors in reporting a competitive first quarter. BCE says it gained nearly 17,000 postpaid mobile phone customers as providers jostled for business with promotional offers. That's compared to a loss of around 9,600 during the same period last year. The telecom also increased its revenue target for its AI business by a third to $2 billion by 2028 as it plans to build a cluster of data centers. CTV is a division of Bell Media. The Toronto Tempo hit the practice court today ahead of their historic season opener tomorrow.
CTV's Allison Hurst has more on how the team is prepared for their first ever regular season WNBA game.
Hamilton's Kia Nurse is getting ready to make history with her team.
Knowing how much this can change the lives of so many young people who are watching tomorrow will be really, really exciting.
The Toronto Tempo play their first regular season game tomorrow, officially bringing the WNBA to Canada.
This one will be special, just knowing that I can look out into the crowd and see a lot of people that I know, see my family members. That aspect of it is really exciting.
Acknowledging the significance of tomorrow's game, head coach Sandy Brondello says they'll mark it, hopefully with a win.
Just said, let's enjoy the moment. You know, something really special. We're creating history tomorrow, and we're going to be in front of our fans, who's going to bring us so much energy.
The Tempo are coming off 2 losses in the preseason, but Brondello says she's feeling way better than a week ago.
Our system's in place, but it's more about building that chemistry and the cohesiveness and just going through some battles together, getting battle tested. But it's fun. I love that part.
Something the team is going to need, being an expansion team, meaning they haven't played together before.
You have a group of players who have something to prove on this team together, but are also been there and done that. And so it is a new team, but we have a bunch of non-new players, and it looks like the Toronto Tempo really want to win.
Rookies like Tiani Key, meanwhile, are trying to catch up to the pace of the game.
It's all been a challenge, just, you know, coming to the league, learning a new pace and everything like that. But honestly, just fouling, not fouling, I think has been a challenge. I think it's something I'm definitely working on.
And getting settled in the city.
I love the city. Just still getting used to like the loudness at night. Like just, you know, there's always something to do, and I can tell from my apartment. But no, I like it a lot.
The Tempo face the Washington Mystics tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. at Coca-Cola Coliseum. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
A note for drivers, if you're making plans this weekend, there are going to be some major road closures to contend with. The Don Valley Parkway will be entirely shut down at 11 p.m. on Friday for maintenance. It's scheduled to reopen in time for the morning drive on Monday. The closure may also affect participants' commutes to the Sporting Life 10K on Sunday, and there will be rolling closures along Yonge from Lawrence down to Front Street from 4 a.m. to noon.
We're still dealing with spring weather, but preparations are underway for a summer staple, the Canadian National Exhibition. The CNE launched advanced ticket sales for this summer. General admission is currently just over $25, while admission plus unlimited rides costs a little more than $50. Advanced tickets are available to be purchased until August 20th. The X takes place from August 21st to September 7th. Just ahead, living legends go head-to-head, gearing up for greats from Brazil and Toronto FC, hitting the pitch here in Toronto.
Well, before it welcomes the World Cup, BMO Field will host the Living Legends soccer tournament.
Tomorrow, iconic players like Brazil's Ronaldinho and former TFC players Josie Altidore and Dwayne De Rosario are here. CTV's Jessica Smith was on the field.
Soccer royalty is about to take the pitch in Toronto.
With Ronaldinho, my team, his team, we start organizing, see which player was available to do this match, and then we start picking one by one. And now we're going to have this beautiful match, and the city is so excited.
Diogo Snow, co-founder of Living Legends, a friendly football match, is hosting both former players from Brazil along with Toronto FC alumni.
For 3 years, we tried some different ways, but now it's just happening in the perfect time, 1 month before the World Cup.
World-renowned Brazilian champion Ronaldinho is looking forward to playing in Toronto for the first time.
Muito feliz, né, de poder estar aqui.
Very happy to be here.
Feliz de rever os amigos, né?
We're happy to see all the friends.
Esperamos que todo mundo fique feliz também de ver a gente e que a gente possa se divertir todos
And hoping
juntos.
that everybody is happy to see them and everybody have fun together.
Everyone looking to give the fans a show.
It'll be fun to be out there. It'll be fun to play with the guys you've played with, guys you've seen, guys you respect, for and against, and hopefully we can put on a bit of a show.
All in good fun with bragging rights on the line.
Amigável.
Yeah, it's going to be a friendly game. Yeah.
Se fosse antes, não temos mais idade para não fazer algo que não seja amigável.
Yeah, they're not in that age that they cannot do anything that is not friendly.
And sharing in the love of the beautiful game. The inaugural Living Legends match kicks off tomorrow at BMO Field at 7 p.m. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
That you got Messi in town, you got the Tempo tomorrow, lots happening this weekend.
Such a great time ahead of the World Cup, too, to boot. Weather-wise, what do we need to know?
Okay, so I'll remind you of the fact that we have a risk of frost tonight and into tomorrow morning. So this is a look at what you're waking up to temperature-wise. The upside is that we do expect sunshine for the morning. It's in the afternoon that chance of showers returns. There's another look at Mother's Day. Looks like it could be mostly cloudy, but some peaks of sun would be great. And one more look at the 7-day forecast. We remain below seasonal with some hope near the end of the long range. Michelle and Nathan.
Thank you, Lindsay. That is CTV News at 6. Omar Sachedina has you covered tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, thanks for watching and have a great night.